Hello everyone, I'm empathic and introverted. That is all, cue credit. Just kidding. But yes, I do have the qualities of being empathic and introverted, which I've noticed both tend to come together hand in hand or hoof and hoof. Now, before I continue, I'm not saying I know everything about this topic. I did research and spoke with friends and family to the point that I've come to my own understanding of what it means for me as a person, or pony. But I by no means claim to be an expert, but I do hope this video will be insightful for you. So, what does it mean to be empathic and introverted? Well, let's break down the definitions real quick. Empathic or empathy is used to describe a wide range of experiences. Emotional researchers generally define empathy as the ability to sense other people's emotions and imagine what someone else might be thinking or feeling. A simple definition, but for me it tends to have a lot more complexities than one would think. What being empathic means to me is not only do I understand, share, or have sympathies to others who are emotional or have strong feelings. Geez, I really do sound like a Care Bear when I say that. But I noticed a side ability of absorbing their emotions, good or bad. As a result, this tends to make me feel a wee bit sensitive and prone to moments of exhaustion, my own anxiety being activated, or making me angry even though I have no reason to be. Now, I'm sure some of you are thinking, absorbing others' emotions? What you talking about, Bliss? Yes, it may seem like some sort of magic or voodoo junk, but empaths are highly attuned to other people's emotions to the point of exhausting themselves because they absorb the energy that is expressed from the emotions exhibited from others. It's kind of like filling your car up with gas. A car needs it to keep moving, but if you overfill the tank, it can actually cause a lot of damage. The same goes for empaths if they don't know how to stop absorbing energy from other people's emotions. For certain individuals like myself, being around people that express a lot of excitement or joy can be a bit of an energy boost, but if I'm around it too long, I can have a really bad burnout. This goes double for feelings such as anger, anxiety, and especially sadness. A good example was when I was at BronyCon 2017. I would regularly meet several, if not hundreds of fans during this large 3-day event, since I am a frequent PonyCon vendor, and on occasion I would go to meet fans that are either overly excited or are overwhelmed just by approaching me. Regardless of their emotions they were trying to keep at bay, I could sense and even absorb them right off the bat. How, you may ask? Well, it could be many factors, like how you carry yourself, eye contact, a stutter or nervousness in your voice, or all the above. Either way, if you are excited or nervous of coming up to speak to me, odds are I'm going to notice it. This can unfortunately cause me to feel a little uneasy, I'll admit, as this tends to make me feel the pressure of making a good first impression. Now, don't get me wrong, it's okay to be nervous or excited. I feel it all the time to those I admire or look up to. So I found ways to cope with my sensitivity, like reminding myself you are all just really happy to be there and to see me and my friends. Knowing that helps me bear the weight of those emotions because as an entertainer, I love to make others happy. But inversely, if I don't get enough time to take a break and regather myself or to release all that energy I've taken in, I admit I can be overwhelmed to the point that my introverted behaviors tend to kick in.
A valiant effort, Blissy Boo. But I feel some enhancement is in order. Now, as it behooves you all to know, I am both an empath and an introvert with extroverted tendencies, but I feel empathy in particular has been inappropriately mythologized. Often I may find someone who wears empathy on their sleeve, and has often snowflaked it out to seem like it's a rare and special thing that you have to have been born with the right midichlorian count or some other such nonsense. Nor is it a substitute for lacking wisdom or experiences. In truth, everyone has it to varying degrees, and it is a skill that can be cultivated, learned, and enhanced like any other skill one should feel the need to learn. A lack of empathy is a key trait of antisocial personality disorder. A disorder so rare it only affects a single-digit percentage of the population. You know them better as psychopaths. I can give plenty of interesting experiences and stories about my own defining empathic moments. I had it enhanced and altered by a near-death experience and psychedelic experiments, for instance. I've had moments where I've spread it out so much over such a wide area that I feel the weight of the world and lose my own ego in it. Even me saying dearie or sweetie most of the time has often been the result of a deep empathic moment I shared with someone else who had that verbal tick, and I more or less just walked away from the encounter having unknowingly borrowed it at the time from their personality. And while I do find those experiences, many others, amazing and impactful, I don't believe I'm special for it. Empathy is better shown through action than worn on your sleeve, I tend to find.
Which leads me to explain what does it mean to be introverted. Well, by its definition, it means someone is more concerned with their own thoughts and feelings rather than the external things. That doesn't necessarily mean that some people enjoy being alone or isolated all the time, as this tends to bring the assumption that we aren't mentally well and tend to live like hermits. Not at all. I like thinking of it more as a level of social energy and how much we are able to absorb on a daily basis, depending on how social or antisocial we wish to be. No one is completely one-sided, and if you are, well, like I said, I'm not a medical expert. For instance, I am an introvert that wants to do extroverted things. Even though a full day of spending time with people, friends, or family can be extremely exhausting for me at times. I really hate to miss out on fun events, like seeing a movie, going out for dinner, or having a pool party. So a lot of time for me, despite my energy levels being completely drained, I tend to run on fumes for the sake of having a good time or entertaining others, which I really wouldn't recommend because, well... The surprising thing is, identifying who is more introverted than others can be very interesting, even if others are subtle about it.
What's subtle mean?
Apparently not you! Seriously, doesn't anyone believe in the portal bell?
I tried that once. It led to a bad night on the toilet.
That's Taco Bell!
Ugh, must you bring up awful memories of my first job?
Ripple Punch!
Jump!
I'm actually glad you did that. Nice form?
How did you know I just got it laminated? Yeah, I know I'm terrible. Anyways, we heard you were speaking about empathic introverts?
I don't think I could help much on the empathy part. Emotional awareness is not my strong suit.
Not to say you don't care about others' emotions, just not everyone is as attuned to them as well as some of us. Sometimes some of us tend to let out their emotions louder than others.
Hey, I'm a performer. I literally get paid to be loud. But back on topic. This may come off as a surprise to some of you, but I also identify as an empathic introvert. Yeah, you heard me right. This bombastic ball of energy right in front of you deeply craves alone time. Now, I'd imagine a lot of you might be thinking, how is that possible? You act, sing, and dance in front of hundreds, if not thousands of people all the time. Doesn't that give you such a gigantic thrill? Well, yes and no. Contrary to popular belief, there are times where I have to force myself to get into that mindset, and it's hard. It's practically crucial for me to have some downtime to recharge, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And let's be real here, unless you're Pinkie Pie, no one can exert all that energy 24/7.
That's what coffee is for. No, hey, stop it, stop, my coffee, I know, jump. Hey, no biting, come on, hi.
And this is the reason I stay away from coffee houses. They're practically hornets' nests. Now, don't get me wrong, I love performing, but depending on the circumstances, even large crowds and big environments can make me feel uncomfortable sometimes. I just have a better grasp on when to turn it on and off. And yes, even the biggest performers in the world are no strangers to anxiety or feeling self-conscious when walking into a room or making an entrance on stage. Even the best of the best can be susceptible to stage fright. Of course, it varies from person to person, but there have been times even at cons where either before or after a panel or event, I need to recollect myself and restabilize my mental and emotional equilibrium. Heck, some of the biggest stars of all time consider themselves introverts, such as Glenn Close, Gwyneth Paltrow, Clint Eastwood, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, and even Steve Martin.
Okay, Uncle, second on twice removed.
Who's your rainbow?
Ahem! Are you two quite finished?
Maybe. Well, if we're talking about performers and introversion, I'd say they're not mutually exclusive. If anything, a performance is a means of asserting some control over the situation. The big struggle with introverts is that they often test very high in sensory awareness. One might assume that being introverted means shutting out the world, but not so. If anything, the big fear is a sensory overload, as one tries to be aware of the people with whom one is speaking, the surrounding environment, possible conversation branches, being keenly aware of the time and schedule, fringe concepts, idle ideas.
How much longer is this gonna take?
Shush you, I'm only 1/3 of the way through my list. Thoughts on what to say or what to do next, concerns about offering equal attention to others, what to have for dinner.
Get on with it!
Yeah, get on with it!
Yes, get on with it!
See what I mean? There's so much going on that it's easy to get overwhelmed or lose yourself in the torrent. That's why introverts, such as myself, often need to go somewhere quiet or removed and recharge the old batteries. And you might say, Silver, you bodacious banana quit.
Wait, that's seriously the name of a bird?
You've always been doing stuff in front of crowds and conventions, and you are correct. But one thing I'm not doing is just sitting still or coasting within the crowd. Having a purpose, like a presentation or comedy bit, gives focus. And focus helps give a sense of control, perhaps only of oneself or even the environment. Many an introvert can flourish during a parallel play, where both parties are focused on a shared event rather than direct interaction. That includes talking about a show that everyone assembled enjoys.
Now, whereas Beak and Thespio can handle the stage through skits and comedy, however, this is where I resign my differences. I actually prefer to be behind the safety of a vendor table, where I'm able to talk and meet with fans at my leisure, as well as keep myself occupied through commission requests. Though, in hindsight, it's also a bit of a cage for me too, because I can't control the amount of people who wish to speak to me at the ready without a proper break. This is why more often than not, you'll see some of my friends at my table helping me out when I'm not around. More than likely because I need to stretch my legs, get a cup of coffee, and get some fresh air to clear my mind of all the thoughts and conversations I've experienced. If I don't do this, it's not uncommon to see a very sleep-drunk Blissey waddling around the hallways.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because that's one thing both you and Silver have over me. I'm not a vendor, nor do I have any physical products to sell behind a table. Between the three of us, I'm the only one who's constantly moving around, not only looking for activities to do, but being on the lookout. Which is where my empathy can sometimes appear. Before I achieved the status I have now of being well known in this very niche community, I also used to be a simple fan, wanting to constantly interact with the people I followed and respected. Now that I've essentially switched roles, I too can also understand the thrill of someone being head over heels to meet me. Heck, when I was at Everfree Northwest one year, a fellow musician / fan of mine told me he flew all the way from the Netherlands just to have the opportunity to talk to me in person and see me perform. My experience of being on the other side made me understand the excitement he was feeling, and I welcomed it with open arms.
Meanwhile, I'm the nervous wreck who shuts down when Uncle Songhorse introduces me to Black Griffin or Tara Strong.
You're welcome!
But the thing for me is, being both introverted and empathic is like a double-edged slap in the face. I absorb or feel the feelings of others on a daily basis, on top of being introverted, which means I get little time to recover or even handle public events as well. This is why I prefer not to deal with panels, but I am trying. Or why I don't really prefer to go out to crazy public events if I can help it. Not saying I don't enjoy a good time at a theme park, or dancing, or a nice get-together at a restaurant.
Or a shipping war?
Shush! This is what we call an introvert that wants to do extroverted things. I want to be bold and be able to be loud and exciting like Silver, Quill, and Thespio. But I do know if I don't have self-control or pace myself, things could get out of hand and my energy depletes faster to the point I don't want to spend time with anyone. Being introverted and empathic isn't a bad thing, however. If anything, I like to think it gives me a little bit of an edge on the social front. I am able to relate to my friends' feelings faster and quicker and sense when they need someone to talk to or a quick hug. I can sense when a fan is super happy but too overwhelmed to express it, so I help ease their tension by letting them know that they are in a safe place with me. Heck, I could even remember to tell a certain buzzard when he doesn't know how to hug a certain fan for Senpai noticed me.
'Tis true! At one of my earliest conventions, a fan burst into tears upon meeting me. I had no idea how to react until Bliss told me to give them a hug. Not something I would have readily considered or even done. A lot of the interactive skills I've learned have been crafted through a lot of trial and error, and error, and error, and error, and error, 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 error,
Could you reboot him, please?
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, right in the RAM port.
Anyways, there are plenty of ways that being introverted as well as empathic can bring many positives. For those like myself, it allows me to read the room better, understand others' emotions, and allow me to sort of get a social heads up on a situation. This is why I'm able to connect with multiple types of personalities, from say DRWolf to AeonofDreams, or from Quill to Rommel. It not only gives me a broader view on how others react in our own world and allow me to understand them better, but it also provides me with the opportunity to create a positive and safe environment with those I interact with. And it's something I try to provide to my fans when I meet them in person at conventions.
Well, before I became a brony, I realized I had become too isolated. My time alone was an outcome, not a choice, and I wasn't okay with that. It took a lot of time, practice, and failure to develop middle gears and learn how to play to my strengths. I will always need a little time to myself to reflect, ponder, and decompress. But I can also say that going outside that comfort zone becomes easier with time, and you gain confidence by doing. So don't ever beat yourself up for preferring some time to yourself. Just know that it's a choice and you have greater strength and adaptability than you know.
Well, as for me, I was told that even at a young age I felt for people. And now that I'm an adult, I've accepted that it has both drawbacks and strengths. It's finding a proper balance between the two that proves to be the bigger challenge. And it depends on a variety of factors. But I can say that's one of the advantages of being able to read the rooms so you know what you're getting into. Comfort zones are hard to wander outside of, but it's not impossible. And it's something I'm still learning how to master to this very day. I value my close ties very much, but that doesn't mean I think of my followers any less. At the end of the day, I'm still me, and I'm quite content with that.
With that said, I'm Lightning Bliss.
I'm Thespio.
And I'm shipping Lightning Bliss.
Married!
You want to be shipped with someone married? Okay. Would you prefer Lyra or Bonbon?
Neither!
You don't want to choose? Okay. How about a menage a bliss? Bless your confused innocence. I shall destroy it.
And I know someone who will destroy you. Twinkie! Fried chicken!
Yay, not me for once!
Sometimes you deserve a break. Anyway, keep an eye out for those rainbows, everyone. They will make you smile.
Gonna keep that in just for you, Bliss.